Welcome to Racket TV, episode 4.
Towards the end of the year, we will be doing something, but we haven't quite finalised it yet.
It's November, I think, that sort of time period. Probably the usual, maybe not the usual venues, but the usual territories, Holland, Germany, probably Paris, probably London, I'm guessing, but nothing fixed. Answer that question in reverse. Mike Hunter is a sonic wizard and an utter god.
And a lovely guy.
And a lovely bloke. What was the first part of the question?
Are we going to remix other albums?
We talked about it.
There's possibilities. I mean, the thing is, there's no point remixing an album if it already sounds as good as it can sound, or as, close to that. So there's one or two that we could have a look at, but we haven't really decided yet.
TSC perhaps. I think
that's the one.
he mentioned it, didn't he?
Yeah. So if Mike thinks he can do a job that's going to improve it, then it's probably worth looking at.
Yes, and if he's particularly looking forward to doing it and enjoys it, then we won't pay him.
Yeah, I mean...
We pay him anyway.
What?
I think he can do it at home for fun. What's interesting as well is we're starting to get email from people saying it was the album I played least at the time, but as the years have passed, I've gone back to it and I'm playing it a lot now. And then they've said, and the remix sounds great. So it's not just the remix that's made people review the album. It's just that it is a bunch of strong songs, and maybe it was a bit too much for our fans at the time for whatever reason.
Yes, to everything.
I think it's still really good.
Yeah, and I think it's absolutely amazing that it seems to have turned out as well as it has and been received so well, because towards the very end of the process, the whole thing descended into anarchy really. Nobody knew what anybody else was doing. On the songs, including Mike, the producer, and we were all adding overdubs and little bits of things to it in hotel rooms around the world, in America and across Europe, and no one really knew. It had gone native really, and it ran off.
It got to a point.
What it sounded like anymore.
We got to a point in Scandinavia where we knew we had to sit down and listen to everything, but we really didn't want to, because we thought we'd have such a big argument and fall out, and we were in the middle of touring Scandinavia. It's like, we've really got to do this, but we've got to be really careful, because we might just all fly home in a huff, We
had to make some hard decisions, because the fact that we'd worked in that way meant that at any point in time in a song, I might be either whispering on it, Steve might have put a guitar on it, or Mark might have gone jing on it, and we had to decide which one of those three elements was going to be there, because you can't have them all at once, sound like hell. So we had to take some tough creative decisions as to what to leave out at the end of the process. But we must have got most of that right, because it's gone down the store.
Me, Gaza and Sky Above the Rain.
Yeah.
I really like.
I agree. Those choices.
I would add Sounds That Can't Be Made to that.
I would add that.
Very hard
well.
to pick the favourite.
Tell you what, I really enjoy, and I'm surprised, but I really enjoy playing Montreal. I mean, really enjoy playing Montreal.
Too.
And Montreal was for quite a while for me. What kind of was like, well, I know it's got to be there, but it's not quite got to where the other songs are, you know. And I suppose I'm thinking of Sky Above the Rain and Gaza when I compare it to other songs. I really like Pour My Love as well.
Yeah, me
Pour
too.
My Love, the sound of Pour My Love is just exactly what I think it should be.
So you don't have a favourite?
It's really hard. There's such a strong bunch of songs. They really
Yeah, and
are.
even Lucky Man was my least favourite. It was fun to play.
Oh, it's great live, isn't
I
it?
think
It
we played
rocks.
it better live.
We
Maybe
play
it
it
wasn't
best.
quite as bombastic.
We
as
play it best in the sound checks, actually.
But I
in the
think
sound checks,
for
it
me, the
sounds
only
great.
problem with the last album is the fact that we have to follow it at some point in the future, and that's going to be the real pressure.
Jangling at the bottom of your back. You don't seem to feel it though, as you swing down the street, walking there.
Well, I think when we say we'll convene, what we mean is that Michael convened with himself.
I think if we're doing 3 or 4 or more conventions in 2015, realistically, I think you're looking at some point in 2016, be it the beginning of it, the middle of it, or the end of it.
So when Steve says realistically, go
2018.
go back
I
to
think
the
we're
second
talking.
part of the question.
We're talking this decade, certainly.
Yeah, this decade.
It'd be great
Before
to,
one of us croaks with a bit of luck.
it'd be great to
So that's for the next meeting.
actually play maybe 1 or 2 new songs at a convention.
If we could, yeah.
We are best not thinking about it, really. I mean, it appears, thank God, to be all positive. We don't seem to have any gun-toting nutjobs out there hearing messages from Satan in our music. Thank God, you know. I mean, it seems that what people get out of it is all about positivity and beauty and redemption and healing. A lot of people get into a scrape, you know, in their lives, and we get so many emails saying this music's really helped me through a bad period. And in fact, if of all the emails we get, that's probably the most common thing people say. This happened to me, or I lost someone, or I got sick, or my relationship went wrong, or I lost my job, or my life went wrong. I was in pain, and thanks, this music got me through it.
Yeah.
That's wonderful, but it's no good us thinking about that too much. You're kind of grateful for it, and it makes you think, well, we must be doing the right thing if we're having this effect on people. So it gives you a bit of self-confidence to go forward and know you're on the right track. Sky Above, for instance, I hate to go on, but Sky Above the Rain, I thought, I was worried the whole time we were putting that song together that it was too much, that it was too personal, it was too intimate to be something that the general public would feel comfortable listening to. You know, I did worry if we'd just gone too far with that lyric, and the way people have responded to it, couldn't have been more wrong. So we must be doing something right, musically and lyrically.
The way I love you.
It's fantastic, actually. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's a great feeling.
Because we still have our lives, we can still, be real people, and I think that's really important, that you can still have a sense of sort of being grounded. You can go to the shops and do whatever you want. A lot of people have to live in such a bubble that they lose complete, contact with reality.
We get stopped in the street just enough that it's nice.
Yeah.
Somebody stops you in Sainsbury's and says, "Oh, hello," and you think, "Oh, that's quite nice," but it's not so much that it's a hassle. So that's how I'd like to keep it. It's great.
Yeah, fame at this level. I mean, our fans are very respectful, and in Port Zealand, you can walk or cycle around the place and not get hassled or be in the bar afterwards. Too much fame, and you don't want to get to that point where you have the paparazzi camping out in the bottom of your garden. It's just that's not fun. So I think we're kind of the best of both worlds. Really. We can feel famous for a weekend and then go back to relative normality.
I've had enough by the end of 3 days.
I was going to say, if you go down to
it's lovely, but
Brutopia in Montreal, that's what it must be like for people like Robbie Williams all their lives, whichever pub they go in. So, it would be horrible, really.
Yeah.
Not that it's horrible for a weekend, don't get me wrong. Digging a hole here.
It's great to have a bit of adulation, but you wouldn't want it all day long, every day.
Because you don't want to disappoint people as well. It means that, it does, with your fans, it means a lot to them when they do get to meet you. So you don't want to shortchange them almost. Sometimes, especially if you're exhausted from playing the concerts, that takes even more out of you. Just try to be, I don't know. Yeah.
Our fans are quite unique, though, I think, because all the staff at Port Zealand, they just love it. They think our fans are great and never any trouble, and they like that the world over, really.
I think it was amazing how Wolverhampton seemed to be transformed by the presence of however many Marillion fans. I mean, we played there a few times. We've had days off in Wolverhampton. It's not a bad place, don't get me wrong, but it seemed to be very different with those Marillion fans in all the pubs and clubs.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
The boys from Relish, I was talking to them. They're one of the opening acts, and they'd come over from Northern Ireland, and they were saying, just walking around town, that there was a vibe in the whole town, and people were coming up and saying, "Oh, you're that bloke from Marillion. How you doing? Do you want a drink?" So it was just, they were saying they've not known anything like that. For a place to be transformed, for an atmosphere.
Montreal gets a bit like that as well. I mean, I know we tend to see the bits where the Marillion fans probably are, so maybe we get a bit of a starry-eyed sort of view of what's going on in the town. But yeah, the conventions are kind of special.